twin.
Jimmie Johnson wins for the 6th time here at Martinsville.
48 team back in victory lane, and big drama in the 2 pit. Get the inside scoop straight from the cockpit. Then saddle up, boys.
Texas Motor Speedway, the great American speedway.
When NASCAR goes to Texas, anything can happen.
Now Biffle's girlfriend's come down here and gotten Bush's girlfriend's face.
We'll have the review, the preview, and everything in between coming up on This Week in NASCAR. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. Glad you're with us for This Week in NASCAR. Steve Burns alongside a media animal, a media mogul. Michael Waltrip was in the booth just hours ago for the Camping World Truck Series race. You did your normal spectacular job.
Well, it was a great race, but I was going to ask you a question. You know what this is?
No.
That's all the money you could be saving on your car insurance if you switch to Geico. You know how those eyeballs sit around and look at you?
I always feel like somebody's watching you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
The truck race was awesome. A great battle between Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. They did the same thing in Atlanta. Kyle Busch came out on top. This time it was Harvick that took the win. So you'll see that a little bit later.
Yes, we will. And but again, spectacular job. You're everywhere.
Well,
121 miles. You made it.
I'm like you, Steve Burns. If they want to talk about racing, just set me down and sign me up because I'm in.
We're all in.
That's right.
Greg Biffle is all in. Glad you're with us.
Glad to be here.
Not too much to talk about yesterday, though. You and I were talking before the show, and it was a frustrating day, frustrating weekend.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, first of all, not getting enough practice. You know, I think everybody's in the same boat. But we went there with a little bit different setup. We tested a lot at Little Rock at Rockingham, and just, you know, never got the car where we needed it. My brakes were great. That's a big thing for us. Our brakes were good, but I don't know if I was going fast enough to use them. So the brakes were awesome yesterday. The best brakes I've had road racing or being in Martinsville.
What are you looking at? Greg just said something funny, and you were looking over there.
There was a whole bunch of people walking down the road and on that screen behind Greg, and I didn't understand what it was.
He said he wasn't going fast enough to overwork his brakes.
But that's sometimes when you use your brakes more.
I know.
When your car won't work in the turns,
Yeah.
you have to slow it down more than you want to. So it's cool that at least you had one thing going for you.
Yeah, they were telling me on the radio, they're beating you in the corner. That's where they're beating you. I said, I know, because I got to slow down more than they do to go around that corner.
And you know, the pain in the neck about that is there's 4 of them.
That's right.
There's only 2 straightaways, so if you're getting beat in the corners, there's 4 of them.
Yep.
Great job by you, by the way. We don't give you enough credit. You finished 13th, Marcus Ambrose 14th, and Rudy had a top 10 run going till the very end.
Yeah, he got spun out there, but our cars, when we unloaded on Friday, the first few laps, I said, man, this is cool. This thing feels like it's supposed to feel. And those guys were able to take their cars and make qualifying runs, got up in the top 10. We never made a qualifying run, just working on our race setup, but we were pretty confident that we would be very competitive yesterday, and indeed we were.
Well, in the end, it was Jimmie Johnson. He won for the 5th time in 6 Martinsville races. Great battle with Denny Hamlin there in the 11. And Jimmie Johnson wins for the 41st time in his NASCAR Sprint Cup Series career. They've led over 1,100 laps there in the last 6 Martinsville races.
That was a great battle. And Jimmie Johnson did an amazing job. He tried to stay off of Denny, and he lost his car. And okay, he lost it, that's first of all. Then he hits the curb. That makes it even more complicated. And then he hits Denny, and yet still keeps enough momentum to drive off the corner, not only with the lead, Steve, but more importantly, the lead enough that Denny Hamlin couldn't go to the next corner and run him over.
Yeah.
What you want to do, if you're going to hit somebody, you better make sure you can get away from them, at least until they calm down a little bit. They might be a little kinder in 4 or 5 laps than he would have been in turn 1 could he have gotten to him.
Yeah, I think it would have been a different story if Denny would have got back to Jimmie. I think maybe Denny might have won.
Well, he said after the race, I have no problem with what Jimmie did, and if the roles reversed, I would have done the same thing.
You got to watch the way Jimmie did it. He tried to get in there, and then he said, "Oh, I'm not going to fit," and he about spun out, trying not to hit Denny, and it all worked. An amazing display of car control and determination between both of them.
Well, I was in the 48 pits for a large part of the day for NASCAR on Fox, and speaking of amazing, Chad Knaus and his boys did a great job. Let's hear from Chad after the race.
Hey guys, well fortunately enough we're back here again in Victory Lane in Martinsville, one of our favorite racetracks, and you know it was looking a little bleak there at the beginning. We had to make a lot of pit stops early on to get the low Chevrolet just a little bit faster, and then we had to battle back to get some track position. And I'll tell you what, Jimmie did a great job. Picker did a fantastic job on pit road getting us out there, and you know Jimmie just drove his heart out. It was awesome to be able to get this victory for Mr. Hendrick on the 25th anniversary of his first win, and you know I just couldn't be proud of everybody on the Lowe's team and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports. Thank you very much.
That was neat. I mean, they, you know, I watched them because I raced around them a little bit, and that was back in, you know, 15th, 17th place, and they did have to work on their car. They did work on their car and got a lot better.
What a great day for Mr. Hendrick, though. 25th anniversary of his first win, and to be able to show up at Martinsville and all the anticipation of possibly winning on his 25th anniversary, and then having the drama of it going down the way it did, and those guys getting to celebrate. Everybody loves Mr. Hendrick. He's a really special person, and it's fun for me to be able to get to see him enjoy such a great day for their team.
Yeah, Greg and I were talking to 4 Hendrick drivers in the top 8, and Greg and I were talking about that as well. Organizationally, they've got it figured out.
Yeah, they run well there. I mean, they certainly do. And like Michael, you know, all of his cars ran well this weekend there. So I think organizations, you know, get it figured out, get their cars working well, and that information translates.
You're going to see another organization right here this weekend.
Hopefully.
We're going to go where they're going to shine this weekend. But it is kind of strange that you guys haven't been able to find your way on short tracks. That's not normal.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the point standings, the top 12 that is, through 6 races of this 2009 season. And Jeff Gordon is atop the leaderboard. And guys, I can't say enough. I talked to Clinton Boyer yesterday. That is a brand new race team. You could say it's Richard Childress Racing. Yeah, it is, but that is a brand new race team.
But like Greg said, organizational strength is what's most important, especially with this new car, and he's able to lean on his teammates, and Clint's an awesome race car driver. Shane Wilson's doing a great job on the box, too. I'm real proud of Shane.
Well, coming up right after this, Martinsville wasn't kind to last week's winner, Kyle Busch. Highlights are coming up, and the best scanner audio and the Radioactive feature is still to come, including some good communication in the 99 pit to make sure they didn't get a penalty. And we look back to stretching fuel at Texas. That doesn't happen all that often, but we'll talk about it when we come back.
This Week in NASCAR is presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Brought to you in part by the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And by Z-Max, performance you can feel.
Glad you're back with us on This Week in NASCAR. 500 laps at the Martinsville Speedway. Always an exciting afternoon, a lot of beating and banging, rooting and gouging, old school racing. So boys, let's take a look at 500 laps from the Goodies Fast Pain Relief 500. Early, Kyle Busch and Scott Speed go around. We'll see another angle of it.
Scott Speed was just leaving Kyle Busch room to pass him. And Kyle got in there a little hot, probably got the back wheels to hopping, got some wheel hop going on, and around he went.
Trouble for Matt Kenseth. See, the tire gets away and it gets out of the pit box. That's a penalty, a pass-through penalty. You see it goes into the 48 pit. Drew Blickensderfer didn't like that call, but tire got away.
Your tire cannot go out of your pit box?
I thought it couldn't go outside the car, but evidently it can't go out of your box because it stayed on the inside of pit wall, but I didn't know the rule, so I'm not arguing that it wasn't the right. If the rule's a rule, then that's the way it goes.
I think, remember, a lot of times you see the guys on the pit next to you or behind you catch a tire or something.
They'll push it your way, though. Maybe he left while it was still in the wrong box.
Yeah.
I think the interpretation or the call is they lost control of it. And that rule was put into place, I think Mike Joy explained it yesterday during the broadcast, so that guys wouldn't be running into tires on pit road. And that was why it was put in place.
Yeah, that's a good rule.
So strict interpretation. A lot of flat tires yesterday, guys, and David Gilliland, Eric Almirola. There's Gilliland in the 71. Greg, I'll ask you one theory, I guess, or plausible explanation. Excessive brake heat, and it was melting the bead between the wheel and the tire.
It certainly can be, or these cars, we run a lot of camber. And we had some cords showing on that very long run. We had some cords showing on the right front of our tire just a little bit. So I'm sure that's what it is, brake heat or wearing the inside of the tire out because you have too much camber.
Yeah, I'd say it was a combination of things, but I think camber maybe more than anything because we saw the same guys keep having trouble, and they're not going to get their brakes that hot, but they are going to wear their tire the same way. The 8, the 7, the 71, those guys repeatedly had issues with their tires. So I think it's probably a front-end setting issue more so than brake temperature heat.
I wrote down on my clipboard at one point, Almirola spins again.
Yeah.
It was a rough day.
That's not what you want to have written by your name, that again part. I told Macy before the race started, I said, Dad just wants to make sure he's not involved in any cautions all day long. She said, Dad, you brought out the first one all by yourself. 11-year-olds are brutally honest.
Yes, they are. All right, let's look now at the Castrol Edge smart move of the race that involves Carl Edwards and his 99 team. He's on pit road, guys. The official signaling that a lug nut is missing on the right front. Carl doesn't leave the pit. They put the lug nut back on. Now, Greg, he lost 9 spots in the pits, but a smart move.
Yeah, I mean, really smart move on his part. And then, you know, a little bit of contact right there, and I think they're thinking that's what cut his left rear tire.
It's exactly what happened.
You know how you come off the corner and your car naturally wants to come down to the left side. And so much, you know, that happens. You come off the wall and you got the wheel turned and the car gets right next to the concrete and then kind of comes back down. You got to be careful underneath the guy to not get. That happened to me with I was racing Jeff Burton a couple years ago and got shot down the inside.
Well, coming up next, it was an excitement-filled finish. 500 laps of racing with lots of beating and banging. More highlights coming up. The big tradition at Martinsville, the hot dogs. We'll put the weekend in focus in just a bit. This week in NASCAR will be right back.
The smart move of the race has been presented by Castrol Edge. Think with your dipstick. Upgrade to new Castrol Edge Advanced Synthetic. Nothing offers better wear and protection.
This week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. And you could win a copy of this picture of Jimmie Johnson. To enter the Picture of the Week giveaway, go to speedtv.com, click the show's tab at the top, go to the This Week in NASCAR page, and you'll see a link at the bottom of the page to email us. Put Martinsville in the subject line, and you'll be entered to win. The winner will be revealed next Monday here on Twin, and one entry per email address, please.
We won't just give you a copy of that picture. We're going to give you that picture.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, it's that one.
Okay.
And we'll ship it to your house. If you
Directly.
That's cool.
Only if you put just one entry.
Otherwise, you'll be
per
disqualified.
person, right out of there.
All right, let's take a look at some more highlights from the 500-lap race at Martinsville yesterday. Up front, Jeff Gordon dominated early until Denny Hamlin bumped his way past the 24. 180 laps later, Jeff Gordon muscles his way back past the 11 to take the lead.
Sometimes you just got to crowd yourself out a little bit more room than you thought you were going to get. Looked like Jeff decided he needed some room, went up the hill a little bit.
And
Denny said,
gets a
"Why'd
little
you do
shot
that?"
back. And Clint Boyer joining the party in the 33 as well.
Whoa. Getting a little bit tight right there.
It's kind of fun how you can run into each other with these cars and not really adversely affect each other if you hit them at the right time.
Yeah, then the 33's up there rubbing on him. He probably thinks it's still Denny.
The other guy's still hitting him.
Yeah, so.
All right, let's move ahead now. Jeremy Mayfield, he has a flat tire. He can't get to pit road. There he is in the 41. That brings the caution out. The Geico Greatest Pit Crew is the 48 team. They came into the pits in second, and they beat the 11 and the 24 off of pit road to grab the lead for the first time all day.
That was a battle too. We heard Chad speaking earlier, they made a lot of changes to that car, lost a lot of track position. Jimmie was able to race from the back to the front, or near the front, and then the pit crew put him over the hump, got him out in front.
Yeah, at one point early in the race, they put a spring rubber in the right rear spring, and you know, anytime you add a move to a pit stop, it increases the possibility that the pit stop could go bad, but they made it all work.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to put a spring rubber in. You know, those guys got to reach in there, knock it in, and then get back out of the way and hang the tire. It takes a lot of time.
They did a great job. Now, Sam Hornish in the 77, he gets into Eric Almirola.
Uh-oh.
Almirola goes around.
I wondered where all that dirt came from.
And now we know.
No, I wonder
They didn't even clean it up. It was still there when we were going back to green.
Check out this restart. What a move by Denny Hamlin. He timed it perfectly, was all over the back of Jimmie until they got ready to dive to turn one, and he just turned left and got inside of Jimmie.
I cannot tell you what Jimmie Johnson said on the radio, but he was not happy.
Because he pushed him?
I think he felt like Hamlin jumped the start.
Well, I think Hamlin did a perfect job, and I'm sure Jimmie feels a lot better about it today.
And our buddy Chad, I should mention, did a great job of getting Jimmie calmed down. He said, you've still got a lot of time left, you know, put it behind you. So, again, a good team win by them. But a great move by Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, I thought it was just, it was like Jimmie winning the race at the end. Denny did everything he could do. Jimmie just made an awesome move. And on that restart right there, that was just Denny making the best move. Probably the only way that he could have made that move was the way he did it. And it's cool when you watch perfection play out on the racetrack.
He was all in, as Michael Waltrip.
What do you expect?
What else do you expect from those guys? All right, time now for the sprint monster moment. It's the 48 bumping his way past the 11 to take the lead with just 16 laps to go, Greg.
Oh, yeah, he was kind of committed down in there, and you know, like Michael said, he had the curb and he had the 11, and you know, he hit both right at the same time, held onto the car. Neither guy got turned around. That was.
Now he's thinking, I got to get the heck out of here.
Yeah. No, Tony Stewart was thinking, I wish that wouldn't have turned out like that.
I bet you Tony Stewart was grinning when he watched those cars going into turn 3, thinking, all right, I know how this is going to turn out.
I've seen this before.
Hey, I want to mention, too, while I'm thinking about it, Brian Vickers was in the top 10 all day. I had him in the pit area as well. 30 laps to go, maybe. They had an oil leak, and he finished 33rd. This is a cruel business sometimes.
Isn't that the way the sport is?
Cruel.
Used to, you could break inside the last 20 or 30 laps and finish in the top 20.
Yeah.
Now you run right up front to the very end, and then you leave there with a 33rd hung on your back.
Yep.
It's a terrible feeling, and you're right. It's a tough business.
We'll forge ahead. After this, the Radioactive scanner feature. We'll have that. You won't believe who Kurt Busch got into an argument with on the radio. You don't want to miss it. Plus, we've got the highlights from the exciting Truck Series finish this afternoon at Martinsville. Plenty of incidents there as well. We'll be right back.
The Greatest Pit Crew has been brought to you by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The Monster Moment has been brought to you by Sprint. For more NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, go to sprint.com/speed.
Glad you're back with us. I generally try to write down something funny that happens on the radio or takes place during the race. Didn't happen yesterday, but I will tell you, Jimmie Johnson said his car went from tight to snug to rolling through the center really well. Let's take a listen and a look at the Radioactive feature from Martinsville.
Radio check 1 2. 10-4, got you. Check 1 2. I got you there. You got me okay? Got a copy. 10-4.
This racetrack has hosted NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races every year since the division's inception in 1949.
Green flag goes in the air.
Really good job on these tires, Jimmie. They look great. You really did a good job for as much as you were pounding on them, man. Good job. Expecting a report card like I got in high school. Not so good. If I do let him go, I'm going to let him know it, because if he touches me again, I'm going to freaking knock his head off. Palmed off to the middle, loose fell off, and, you know, I had to heat everything up right there doing all this stupid racing. The lug nut on the right front, Corey. Right front, Corey. Corey, right front. Clear out, go, go, far up, get the air out of the right rear. That was a stupid adjustment. I hope we're proud of ourselves for that run. That was excellent. Yeah, our day's about shot now.
You just do your best here. You're going to be fine, okay?
There's no way we can compete. Well, all that we're doing is hanging on to a track position that was given to us. It's the most frustrating thing in the world to think that you think that we're better than what we are.
If you didn't blow yourself up, we'd be a lot better. I'll tell you that right now. I'm watching this thing, okay? You made a change. It didn't work. Instead of saying, okay, let's go back with it, all we hear is a bunch of stuff on the radio. So let's get serious here, okay? You understand?
Oh, 10-4, dude. 10-4. Roger, we don't make any good adjustments during the race. If we started 39th, we'd be 3 laps down running about 35th. Do you understand that?
I don't understand your thinking if you want to know the truth. Let's just drive this thing, do the best you can. Everyone's trying, okay? Well, we don't need a lot of rhetoric that's always negative, okay? I know it's not perfect.
The left front there, Kurt. Pound and a half there, right front. Pound left front, pound and a half right front. Sounds like it's dialed in. Be ready. Green flag.
Look out, here goes Denny Hamlin immediately diving under Jimmie Johnson.
That was a big boy move to grab the lead away from Jimmie Johnson by Denny Hamlin.
Clear, clear, clear. Atta boy. All right, bud, you can get it back. You can get it back.
Johnson to the inside of Hamlin. He bangs it, and Jimmie Johnson takes the lead with the bump and run in turn 3.
Great job.
The Hendrick domination continues at Martinsville Speedway as Jimmie Johnson wins for the 6th time here at Martinsville.
Hell yes. Nice job, guys. We fought for that one. Checkered flag. I know you're mad, but be smart about this. That's short track race. Watch your backside there, buddy. Watch your backside. His ass shot me, man. It's his own damn fault. Hey, JJ, thank you, man. Got it, boss. 5 years. And you're the man.
Pretty emotional. Now, last night on Wind Tunnel, Kurt Busch said that he had looked at the day as glass half empty. Roger Penske looking at it as glass half full. And, you know, Michael, I love the fact that we can hear that scanner audio. It's fascinating to listen to. But on the other hand, you're listening to heat of the battle emotion.
Yeah, that team dominated the race at Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, so obviously they can get it right. And anytime you're at Martinsville, it just seems like the intensity is turned up just so much more than other places because you're looking for a tenth of a second, a half a tenth of a second to keep people from running you over. And when you're looking for that much time or that little of time, it's hard to find. It gets frustrating.
Greg, DW said yesterday there are places where you can salvage a day, but Martinsville, if your day starts bad, it goes worse.
Yeah, there's just no way to get better. And you know, I was in the same boat yesterday as you know, we weren't running that well. And Irwin's trying to help me. He's giving me lap times. And I'm like, you know what? That's just, you know, you don't have to give me the lap times anymore because I'm doing all I can do. I'm running the car as hard as I can run it. And, you know, I'm trying to catch these cars in front of me. And you know, it is frustrating when you're inside that car. And when somebody tries to tell you that, hey, a little bit better, you're going to get there, or you can catch them. No, I can't catch them because I'm doing all I can do right now, and if I wasn't, I shouldn't be here because, you know, we give it 110% all the time behind the wheel, and how much we want a cheerleader or somebody to push us along, a lot of times it doesn't turn out to do anything.
All right. Very emotional race today in Martinsville. The Camping World Truck Series race was rained out on Saturday. And Michael Waltrip, help us get through these highlights. You're right from the broadcast.
It was a great day. Kyle Busch qualified bad, but he was able to work his way up through the front. Here, Colin Brown just went to dive to miss another guy and got himself in a bind, hit the inside wall. Check this out. TJ Bell decides he's going to crowd Todd Bodine over. Todd said, I'm going to be requiring a little more space, TJ, and they wipe out. Big time crash. You're not going to wreck much worse than that at Martinsville. That's about as bad as it gets. Now check this out. Harvick just very, very gently nudges Kyle Busch and makes the pass. That looks like typical Martinsville stuff, right? Well, it messed up Kyle Busch's day. See the smoke? Got his fender in on his his left rear tire. And while trying to get that fender off his tire, you can see here he decides he's going to rub it on the wall to try to bend it off. See the white line he's approaching there? That's the commitment line to say you're going to pit road. He crosses it. NASCAR says you have to start at the end of the line or go to pit road.
So, but he was arguing, I was just trying to get the sheet metal off. But the rule, Michael, is
I don't
cross the line.
That's not a very good argument. That white line is there, and you cross it, that means you're committed to pit road. That's what it's there for.
He said it, I heard it during the broadcast.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just not an argument is what you're saying.
It's not a good one at all.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, the line's there, the line's there.
That's like somebody stepping out of bounds in a basketball game and saying, well, I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
Or it was like the tire getting out of the 17's pit box. It doesn't matter. It got outside the box. Yeah. All right, let's take a look now. A lot went on this weekend. Some of it, most of it was in focus.
I did in the car 23 today.
Well, here we go. My favorite racetrack, and boy, this is going to be fun.
There's not a 23 in the race, Jimmy. You drove the 23, but you also drove the 7. How about the 7?
Oh, I don't want to be the first caution.
There's people that will come out in the race. I know it. Yeah. Some of our family members. Yeah.
From Chesterfield, Virginia, this is my pick to win the race today.
He's going to haul the freight today?
He's going to haul. Hey, that was a good one, Stas. Haul some freight, baby.
Do you know what a digger is?
These are the famed Martinsville hot dogs. You can see here the Dayglow pink that is somewhere down there. Steve, cheers, mate.
Look out. Here goes Denny Hamlin immediately diving under Jimmie Johnson.
Oh, my, what a move by Denny Hamlin. All the leaders tangle Johnson to the inside of Hamlin. He bags him. They both save it, and Jimmie Johnson takes the lead.
The Hendrick domination continues at Martinsville Speedway.
Well, the thing about that highlight that makes me unhappy is I did not get one of the famed Martinsville hot dogs this weekend, but lots of action on the racetrack, and you know, a lot can happen at Martinsville, and a lot did happen this weekend.
Marcus Ambrose, the funniest thing he said on trackside, he said, I'm all fizzed up.
Yeah, he likes to eat too, so I guarantee you he did some damage on the hot dog. He's a fan of eating.
All right, NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot coming to you. Oh, by the way, I violated a broadcasting fundamental. Kevin Harvick won the truck race. Now back to NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot this Sunday, 11:30 a.m. here on Speed. When we come back, a preview of Texas. We'll hear if the drivers like or dislike racing at the Texas Motor Speedway. Plus later, we'll answer some email questions. Do you know what the blue flag with the yellow stripe signifies? We'll have the answer. Stay with us here on This Week in NASCAR. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico. We've had 16 NASCAR Sprint Cup races at the Texas Motor Speedway. Jeff Burton won the very first race there, April of 1997. Now, a lot of people refer to that track as the Great American Speedway. What do the drivers think about it?
Texas is different in the fact that the track flattens out so much coming up off the corner, off of turn 2, and the backstretch is so flat.
High banked in 1 and 2, and it's just a fast racetrack with a lot of grip, and the speeds are greater than any other mile-and-a-half we go to. So that's what separates it from the rest. It's kind of the men from the boys.
It really is a difficult racetrack to get a balance at both ends. I think that's what makes Texas so difficult.
The fun thing about the track is, the competition will be there. The track's hard to drive. It's fun. It's fast. But the fans, when you go to Texas Motor Speedway for that race, they start showing up today. They're there right now, getting ready for us to get there. And the drivers, the teams feed off that excitement and really enjoy being down in Texas for the races.
Greg, you won a race there. Are you looking forward to going there, particularly with the frustrations of 2 short track races behind you?
Absolutely. I love Texas. I love all the mile-and-a-halves. And Texas, like Michael said, the fans there are great. It's really exciting to race on that racetrack. But, Bristol was tough. It was a tough week, short track week for us. We normally run very good there, but had an engine problem. And glad to be out of Martinsville. Don't have to go there till the end of the year. Can work on that. And just ready to go on. We run good at Phoenix, and Texas this weekend, no exception.
Well, Carl Edwards has 3 wins at the Texas Motor Speedway, including both wins a year ago. Let's look back to his win in early November.
This is a 500-mile race, the richest race of the chase, over $7.2 million. This one should be fun to watch.
Along with Jimmie and Chad being outstanding, it's actually incredible what we're witnessing.
This guy flies underneath the radar. Not a big personality, not talking a lot, stuff like that. Real quiet type guy.
Jeff Gordon won his first pole here ever. I think that he might break through and get that first victory at Texas and the first victory in quite a while.
Today's the word's going to be patient. You're going to have it. We're going to have it. Everybody's going to have it. Sounds good. Green flag, green flag. Over here in one, I'm real good. I turn good. I touch the throttle. Squeeze it. Big push.
Here's the 99 car. Carl Edwards is up on the wheel here early on.
But we get the car a little better. We'll be way faster.
You're faster than him now. Let's get around that 2 car. Come on.
We're getting in and through the center fair. I just cannot get through 3 and 4 right now. We'll keep working on it. Damn, I about lost it. Yeah, the 41 forgot oil pouring out of it right there. I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah, it just goes a little free here, Bob. A little free. I'm just going to put some wedge in it this time.
Don't pit me when that 83's in his box, Jigger. That was my bad. They started pitting. I told you to pit. He was already coming, so I'm making sure don't have no more. Good job, buddy. That's the way to fight it, man. Great job.
It's all about air, because that 12 car moved up. I started hauling ass.
Carl Edwards trying to ride off into the sunset. The biggest problem for Johnson right now is that this 99 car is so fast.
It's going to be a bag of right now in all this traffic.
It's getting dark, but the sun is shining on one Carl Edwards.
Radiator's gambling like us, but he's conserving fuel, and he's 10 seconds back.
Want to conserve?
He should just keep it posted on his gaps, and we will ride, you know what I'm saying?
So far, they've told Carl to stay out. That could be a costly either calculation or miscalculation.
We'll see if he wants to lose this championship over this gas mileage. We probably ain't going to make it, I don't think. I doubt we will. Yeah, we're going to make it. I'm running out.
What a call.
Coming out of turn 4, what a call. Carl Edwards gets it done and wins at Texas.
Hell yes! Right there, that's Ford fuel mileage. Great job.
That's amazing, the kind of fuel mileage that those guys got at the end of the season. They did a great job. Carl did a great job driving the car. But what comes to mind is 3 or 4 of those last races came down to fuel mileage and pit strategy. And I'm wondering if we'll see that again at Texas.
What do you think?
I don't think we will. I think it's funny how it works. Like Greg said, at the end of the year, you seem to line up some of those races, but I don't see it happening this time. I think you'll have to outrun them instead of outlast them, which Carl did a little bit of both there.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, he had the fastest car,
yeah.
and it's nice that when the fastest car does have enough gas to get to the finish.
Let's take a look at our broadcast schedule from the Texas Motor Speedway on Friday. As Michael likes to say, we're all in. Sprint Cup Series practice starts at 1 o'clock, then NASCAR Live. Qualifying, NASCAR Smarts, which is Greg Biffle's new favorite show. Trackside, David Gilliland will join us at 7 p.m. Eastern. Up next, unusual things have happened at Texas, like, well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting into a Hendrick Chevy before he actually drove for Hendrick. Plus, Texas is very fast. We'll find out what Michael and Greg think about the 1.5-mile facility, and that's next. Michael, look at the weather. 90% chance of no precipitation.
I love that. And that 10%, I just want to go ahead and say that's bull, because that's just hedging your bet is all it is. They should say what they mean, what they think, and they think it's not going to rain.
And it's almost 80 degrees on Saturday.
Oh, what a lovely day in Texas.
Spectacular at the Great American Speedway. You're talking about the speed at Texas, and prior to Michael getting here, you mentioned that coming off turn 2, it's a little unusual, and we should say not all 1.5 miles are the same.
Yeah, none of the 1.5 miles we run on are the same. I get tired of people saying, oh, they're all cookie cutter. None of them are the same. This racetrack, you know, is real flat as it starts down in the corner and then gets, you know, a fair amount of banking. But more importantly, when coming off of turn 2, the thing just flattens out dramatically. The car almost gets a flat, slick slide off of the corner. And it makes a difficult place.
And you'll see cars running at the bottom and at the top. As the track has matured, the groove is widened out. You can certainly make good time on the bottom. That's where we saw Carl earlier, and then we saw Dale Jr. run right out next to the fence. So you have some options.
What year was it that we had the weepers on the track, and Eddie Gossage, the track president, had the T-shirts that said "Shut up and drive"?
Yeah, I think
what year was that?
"Shut up and drive" was before, and then we were saying "Shut up and fix it." You know?
Yeah.
But you didn't have T-shirts made up.
I know. We can't afford that.
Yeah.
Well, the point about this is unusual things have been known to happen at the Texas Motor Speedway.
Texas, 500 miles of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing.
You want to keep that head cool, and that's going to be the key to the success today, keeping that head cool.
There are always surprises and sleepers here in Texas.
Trouble up in turn 4.
Greg Biffle, who dominated this race early, has crashed out. Doug Richard, the crew chief for Greg Biffle, slammed down his headset on the War Wagon on pit road. He has a reason to be upset. Kurt Busch, as you look at the replay, lifted Greg Biffle off the ground on the back straightaway and wrecked him going into turn number 3.
What happened to Biffle right there? Looked like the 2 took him out.
You can see all these folks here are very upset, Doug, and his girlfriend Nicole.
Now Biffle's girlfriend come down here and got in Bush's girlfriend's face. It's pretty funny. They get it on TV? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's hilarious.
Crash, turn 2, Ryan Newman.
Something happened in front of us. I saw Casey Mears get sideways. I'm pretty sure Sterling Marlin's hairpiece just cut down in his eyes and he couldn't see what was going on.
Ain't a little hard on old homeboy there, though. Golly, gee, cut Sterling some slack, man.
Oh, he's getting them loose. He's getting them loose. And into the wall. Caution is out. Kevin Harvick and Scott Riggs got together, and Riggs made a tremendous crash into the outside retaining wall.
Words were exchanged. Witnesses were invited to the NASCAR trailer.
Whoa, Stewart.
Oh, he's in trouble again. Turn 4 again.
Caution waves.
Oh, and he got Dale Jr. Kyle just got into Jr. That was a second and third place car.
You won't believe this. The 5 car is back on track. The driver is Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That's interesting.
Kyle apparently had left the racetrack thinking the car had been withdrawn. We're not sure of that. We're making that assumption. They needed a driver, and there was Junior.
They asked me to do it, so. Was there any hesitation at all? No. How did it drive? Wrecked.
One of the worst things to ever do is get back in a car that you wrecked and know you have to drive it. But maybe it's pretty cool getting back in one that somebody else wrecked.
Yeah.
See how that
you wrecked together with them, and now you're driving their car.
Nicole wasn't happy.
No, she wasn't, and you know, she just told. I think she was upset and told, you know, we're all friends, and she told Eva that, you know, he's going to end up hurting somebody, you know, because it was obvious he wrecked me on purpose, going down the backstretch. So. And
we're all friends.
She had your back.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was unfortunate. We had a really good car that day.
Yes, you
Hopefully
did.
we'll have a good car this weekend.
But we're all friends. I like what Booty says. What do y'all expect?
I don't understand.
Right.
What do y'all expect?
What's wrong?
Yeah. When we return on This Week in NASCAR, athletes in other sports use mouthpieces to protect their teeth. Do NASCAR drivers use them? We'll get the answer from our panelists. That's coming up next here on Twin. This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Geico.
I always feel like
somebody's watching. Time now for the ZMAX Fuel for Thoughts email segment. First question is for Michael. Do NASCAR drivers wear mouthpieces like athletes in other sports?
I don't think so. I mean, I've heard maybe a couple do, but I had a crash once in Michigan in '92 and bit through my lip, and I had to get like 8 stitches right here. So look at there. Kyle Busch has one. It'd be hard to talk, wouldn't it, Biff?
Yeah, it would be. You know, and you know the helmet kind of squeezes your face a little bit, and you know, breathing pretty hard.
See my scar? Can you see it?
Chicks dig scars.
You should have had one then.
See that right there?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good look for you.
Thank you.
The second ZMAX Fuel for Thought email is for Greg. What is the blue flag with the yellow diagonal stripe?
That's the flag that they were giving me at Martinsville, meaning you're too slow and faster cars are coming up behind you. Get out of the way. So there they are giving the flag to some slower cars that you know, you don't see it a lot.
I don't really think anybody pays any attention to it anymore.
Does it ever make you mad when they give it to you?
No,
well, you
because
don't know who they're giving it to.
They give it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like they throw the green.
So you're saying that's not for me.
They throw the green and they get that one out. And they hold it until they throw the yellow.
Yeah.
So you ignore the other ones.
Pretty much.
Okay.
It's kind of like the gauges. They said, do you mind if we put smaller gauges in the car? I said, I can't see the ones in there now. Do whatever do whatever you want. Whatever makes y'all happy.
Smaller, bigger, I don't care. Are the wheels balanced on a stock car like they are on a passenger car? If so, how and when is this done, Mr. Biffle?
It's done exactly the same time as they do your passenger car. As soon as they mount the tires up, they balance them and off they go. So you can imagine how much work these Goodyear guys do every weekend. I mean, that is a tough job. I don't know how many tires and wheels there are for 43 cars, but it is a lot.
Think about having a wheel or a tire out of balance, running 210 miles an hour off the corner. You can't live with that. So obviously, it's very important that the wheels are balanced perfectly.
And unlike your passenger car, when the wheel weight comes off, it goes through the hood, or it puts a dent in the hood.
Yeah,
I know that.
Those guys have a great nickname. They call them tire busters, and they work
Great
hard.
job.
Hey, let's take a look at the top 35 and owner points. Remember, we're going off the 2009 points.
We had some movement.
We did.
We got the 98 car leaped over the 71, so the 71 will now, he was in at Martinsville, and then 98 was out. Now it's the other way around.
Logano trying to hang inside the top 35. And we should mention, this top 35, it's a moving target every week.
Yeah, you have to earn your way in. I mean, you get in for the first 5 races, but then after that, you have to maintain your points position to stay locked in. And this week, the 71 will have to go down to Texas and qualify on time. You can see Scott Speed down in 38th. He's just 28 points behind. So you got basically 3 guys racing for one spot there, really close together.
Yep.
Here's a reminder about the picture of the week. You can get this shot of Jimmie Johnson. Michael says it's the very shot over his left shoulder.
Right behind me.
Go to speedtv.com, click the show tab at the top, go to the This Week in NASCAR page, and you'll see a link at the bottom of the page to email us. Put Martinsville in the subject line. There you have it. You're entered to win. The winner will be revealed next Monday. We'll be right back.
This Week in NASCAR is presented by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Brought to you in part by the Polaris XP sales event, going on now until April 30th. And by Super Clean cleaning products. Not just clean, super clean.
Just 47 days to the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. All of us here at Speed excited about the opportunity to broadcast that race. We're going to look back leading up to the race. Today we have some glory from one of our panelists, Michael Waltrip.
Fortunately for me, they took 5 cars out of the open. Not 1 or 2, 5. Because I was running 6th with about 5 laps to go or so. And Johnny Benson started losing an engine, and I was able to get around him. And I made it barely into the big show. I remember telling Eddie Wood, I was like, dude, this car's messed up. It barely goes. I don't know what's wrong with it. He said, well, I didn't tell you this, but you can put it on ignition B, and it's got a little more timing to it to give the engine a little bit more pep. But he said, don't do it until the end. When you really need it, it'll blow up. So he walked off, and I flipped it to B right then because I knew I needed all I could get. And I was able to get around Rusty Wallace, who was 3rd on the first lap, and get myself behind Dale and Terry. And Dale and Terry ran side by side for a lap. They got together in turn 2, and there I went. And when they handed me the steering wheel to the Wood Brothers' famous number 21, I wanted to do them proud. And that night was a big night for all of us.
Celebrating 25 years of All-Star memories. Don't miss the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race on Speed May 16th. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
Man, I love that race, and you know, leading up to it, I hadn't been in too many All-Star races. I'd always run the Open because I hadn't won an official race yet. But that night, winning for the Wood Brothers and getting to see Glenn and Leonard and Eddie and Lynn in Victory Lane, that was awesome.
Hey, Greg, what do you think? They announced last week, NASCAR Sprint, Lowe's Motor Speedway officials, a 10-lap shootout at the end this year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really exciting for the fans. I mean, you know what it's like when we get a green-white checkered on one of these events, and to do a 10-lap shootout at the end of the All-Star race, I think is a great thing. I think they're doing the right thing, and it's going to be fun for the fans.
Michael, did you find a ride yet to Texas?
No, I just
Can we help you out with your transportation?
Just called Matt Kenta. Hey, Matt.
Call me.
If there's any way you can work it out. Biff just told me I couldn't go with him.
Hey, join us next week at 8. Chad Knaus will be here in the studio with me and Michael.